Hello and welcome back to Life.EV, a podcast that delves into exploring values. As usual, I'm your host Ajit Panicker and I lead an air conditioning company, Nova, and Pureblu, a tech startup in the air conditioning domain. Join us every Saturday at 11 a.m. for conversations that go beyond business growth, focusing on the values that fuel it. Let's embark on a journey to uncover our true purpose and how we can grow by enriching our lives. Welcome to Life.EV, where we explore values in life and business. And as always, I have with me Vivek Asrani. Hi, Vivek. How are you doing?
Hi Ajit, good. How are you doing today?
Absolutely good. To our viewers, Vivek Asrani is the driving force behind Camo Fastener Company, a trailblazing company in the industrial fastener sector. What sets Vivek apart is his deep engagement with the exploration of values. Now, for close to 4 years, he has dedicatedly penned his reflections on this topic every week. These insightful thoughts are accessible on his website, vivekasrani.com. Additionally, Vivek has authored the book One Day at a Time, Reflections from Times of Silence, which further delves into his journey and insights. This thought provoking read is available on Amazon and also on his website, offering readers a chance to engage with his profound understanding of values and their role in both personal and professional lives. In today's episode, we're delving into going through the tunnels of life. Vivek, let's hear your reflections on this one.
So Ajit, often life, puts us through a dark patch. It could be bad health. It could be a strained or a broken relationship. It could be a financial situation that we're going through. So very often we find ourselves going through a lean patch, a dark patch, which I metaphorically call going through a tunnel. And these situations come in our life very often unannounced. Sometimes we have a sense that we are going to go through a difficult situation. But nonetheless, we go through these tunnels in our life. Now, if we look at it as an unfortunate situation, if we get bogged down by the situation, if the situation overpowers us, then we are in a really bad state. So, this reflection really is about how do we uh, use these tunnels which we go through in our life to our advantage. First of all, understanding them. Secondly, understanding how to navigate them. And third, what does it take to navigate through them successfully so that we actually turn a challenge into an opportunity. So, first of all, I think we have to recognize that any tunnel that comes in our life is actually helping us move from one side of a mountain to the other. So very often we might find that we had really bad health, but that then kind of brought about a change in us, where we changed our lifestyle for the better. So sometimes inexplicably, life throws us a curveball, Ajit, to help us move in a direction which is necessary and important for us. And often it comes in the form of what we term as a challenge, but actually it's just a situation helping us to move from one side to the other. How does one really navigate these dark patches and these difficult times and these situations in our life? So, like in a tunnel, the first thing is you have to put on your light because you cannot navigate in a tunnel without your headlights. Similarly, when we are going through a difficult situation, we need the light of knowledge. Knowledge gets us through. When we understand that nothing remains forever and we start giving ourselves a perspective, it helps us navigate the dark patch. Second is, in a tunnel, you can never stop. You have to keep moving. And that's the same principle we have to apply even when we are faced with a challenge or a difficult situation. And in fact, Ajit, the fact is that in happy times and in good times, we find the free flow of energy. In difficult times, we actually find ourselves sometimes just, we freeze. We're not able to move ahead. And that's the time when we need more energy than normal. So a good boatsman will continue rowing no matter how strong the headwind. And very often we find that it is that struggle that builds a certain strength and resilience in us, that when that lean patch is over, we are so prepared for the next phase of our life that we look back and say that, yes, that's what I really needed. So the second thing is tireless self effort gets us through. So first is knowledge gets us through. Second is tireless self effort gets us through. The third is we all know and we use the phrase that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Nothing in life remains forever. No challenge is always going to be there in our life. Once we accept that principle, and it's, Ajit, easy to accept that principle when we are in good times and happy times. When we are going through the challenge, even though we've heard it before, even though we know it, we start doubting that very principle because we are going through so much in our lives. Faith gets us through. No matter how dark the tunnel, we cannot lose faith in the fact that this tunnel will have an end and there is light at the end of the tunnel. And, just like a broken, I've used this in another reflection, a crack allows the light through. Similarly, sometimes a broken relationship allows us to, you know, allow another relationship to enter our life or open ourselves up to seeking help and connecting with relationships which otherwise we may not have. Broken health could lead to a complete change of lifestyle, which in the long run could be really beneficial for us. A financial situation we are going through could be because of certain things, and the learnings and insights might actually make us change our business model or the way we are managing our finances and investments. And in the long run, that could be really great for us. But going through this needs us to introspect and bring about a change. So embracing change uh, helps us to get through. So when we look at it this way in life, Ajit, that when we are going through a tunnel, knowledge will get us through, tireless self effort will get us through, faith will get us through, and embracing change will get us through. Then, when we are going through this journey, we stop looking at the negative and the challenging aspects, but we redirect all our energies in the faith, positivity, and resilience that we need from within to navigate. And at the end of it, Ajit, and I think all of us will have a personal story or an example on this, that when we look back, we will actually see that that tunnel or that dark patch or that challenge that came in our life was a disguised blessing. And at the end of it, we might realize that I needed this in my life. At that point of time, I saw it as something unfortunate. But now that I look back, it was actually a blessing, and and life sent me something that was necessary for me. Uh, so once we live with that paradigm, then going through these tunnels of life is literally like saying, okay, if this tunnel has come, it only means that I am preparing myself for the next phase in my life. So we stop looking at it as a problem and start looking at it as a preparation.
Amazing. This also brings to a question because you also spoke about how do you navigate through this tunnel. But in a regular phase, some of us, and I've just realized that even within my friend circles, we don't realize when you get into that tunnel because you just feel it's just one of those things that's happening in your life. So one of the first things that I think it all comes to is, when do I actually realize that I am getting into that dark space? It's not just one of those things that's just happening, but it's a dark phase. And that realization, do you have any thoughts around that?
Yeah. So, I think that's a great question because, there are two types of situations. One is the daily transactional situations that come in our life, and every transaction in itself is not a dark tunnel that we're going through. If we don't sit down and introspect, if we don't review the day at the end as to what happened and how I went through it, if we're not taking stock of the situation regularly, we will miss out on certain patterns that life is presenting us. And the answer to your question, very simply in my mind, Ajit, is there are times when we can feel that we are going through a phase. where no matter how hard we try, certain things are just not working out. Or suddenly, one aspect of our life, let's take relationships, okay? We suddenly find that we are getting into relationship issues with people, and it all seems to be happening in around the same time, and we're not able to understand why is this all happening. And very often you will find that we go through similar kinds of situations for a period, what we call a phase. I don't know the explanation to that, but I know I have experienced it myself. When we start recognizing the patterns in our life, we will realize that, okay, I am going through this phase, and that better prepares us. So, if you ask me, the answer to that really is the daily introspection, review, and watching life from a bit of a distance to see how am I doing and what phase, is life taking me through.
Interesting. I'm just going to switch this question more from an entrepreneurial perspective, because you
Okay.
said it's all about in the mindset, right? I mean, how do you handle these tunnels which come across? Now, from an entrepreneurial perspective, do you think it just makes sense that we are always mentally prepared? Like, let's embrace uncertainty. Yeah, it's nothing is constant. Like how we all say, if there's that change is the only constant. So that's that mindset for entrepreneurs that let's embrace uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Everything is going together. Does that frame of mind set you in a positive note or at an advantage when you're entering into this dark phase of the or a phase that just comes across?
No, I think that's very true. The mindset of an entrepreneur has to always be one of vigilance and alertness. We need to be alert as to what's going on outside in the world, the changes that are happening outside, and we need to be vigilant as to what's going on inside our organizations. So, yes, we have to constantly be ready for change. But the one thing I would qualify that with, Ajit, is an entrepreneur should not, to my mind, get paranoid and live with a paranoia that, okay, you know what, I'm sitting on this great business, but things can change. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. All this can get lost and it's all going to go away. Now, if you get into that kind of fear, uh, psych- psychosis in your mind, then you're feeding negative energy to the system, negative energy to yourself, negative energy to people around you, because you're constantly insecure and scared. Then even the smallest thing happening, you will read the sign incorrectly because you're scared. So yes, we need to be alert and vigilant, but we don't have to be fearful. That's one. Second is we have to, like when we're driving, we have a dashboard and we know the temperature of the vehicle we are driving, we know how much gas we have and all the other parameters. That's the same with our internal analytics and MIS. The challenge with most small and medium businesses is that we have been running our businesses for so long, and we do know our business better than anybody else. But we forget that we still need to commit to a certain discipline of MIS and analytics and reviews and insights, even though we know our business better than anybody else, because these numbers, these charts, these discussions throw up for us those dark spots, which, if we are not vigilant towards, will then become an unnecessary tunnel for us, which we could have well avoided. And if we are not constantly, and it could be once a quarter, once in 6 months, taking a step back and saying, where are we? Where is the industry? And how are we moving? How's the industry moving? Now, you can't do it too often because you'll confuse yourself. You don't do it at all because you feel, no, I know exactly what's going on and I know best. You will lose sight of, a changing situation, and which could actually have been a lovely journey for you might become an unnecessary tunnel. The third thing which I will, say, and this is something the small and medium businesses typically don't have access to, or if they do, they don't use it well, is an advisory board. An advisory board is that headlight which is constantly shining light on areas which you as an entrepreneur need to focus on internally and externally. which prepares you that even if a tunnel comes, you are well prepared because this headlight was on even before you enter the tunnel. And it shines light to say, look, don't go there because this could become a potential challenge for you, and maybe a different route is preferable in your business. So, yes, we need to be in the mindset of embracing change, but we also need the internal discipline of alertness and vigilance, the discipline of our MIS and analytics, and reaching out to creating a good, strong, maybe informal, a board of advisors who's helping us navigate some of the decisions in our businesses.
Amazing. This also, you know, keeping to the entrepreneur's angle. I mean, it's understood that having a positive mindset that, at the end of the tunnel there is light. But I also believe that in that tunnel, you can also search for light. In a sense, what it means is if you're finding light in that tunnel, doesn't it mean that you're finding support systems to help you navigate the darkness? In a way, like entrepreneurs' mental strength. How do you navigate these situations in business? What's the attitude that you have? Do you believe that, that you, if you pass through this journey or go through this tunnel, it's kind of a feeling of rebirth, renewal, and opportunity to reinvent. So, isn't it all about finding support, finding light in the tunnel, and having that attitude of navigating through this tunnel? What are your take on this?
No, no, you're absolutely right, Ajit. And I can just share with you my own personal example, not in business, but I mean, lots of examples in business as well. But, I had a health breakdown when I was 27, and I was in Panchkani for 4 months on medication for 9 months, wasn't allowed to exercise. And when I was allowed, I couldn't run more than 500 meters. I ran one round of, the CCI ground, and I was breathless. And I remember walking to the center of the ground where the pitch is there and talking to myself, saying that this is ridiculous. I'm 27. I can't run 500 meters. It took me, I think, about 2 years. And I said to myself then, I said, one day I'll run 10 rounds of this ground. It took me, I think, about 2 years to run 10 rounds. And then my cousin Vidishi said, Bhaiya, why aren't you running the marathon? Right? I said, are you crazy? Long story short, I trained till I think about 11, 12 kilometers, and I ran 21. And I couldn't believe that I did that. And then I went on to run 15 or 6 for 15 or 16 years. I just ran continuously. But that breakdown of health kind of turned my life and made me stronger, healthier, and better. Right. So what you're saying is very true, provided we keep the optimism, we keep the faith, we keep the positivity, we keep the resilience, and we continue saying to ourselves that, you know what, if this situation has come in my life, it's come for a purpose, and I'm only going to come out stronger from this rather than allowing this to weaken me. And the last thing I will say, and I've written this in one of my reflections, in another reflection, that no matter how difficult the situation, we need to carry positivity with us. There is light at the end of the tunnel, yes, but with our positivity, we can light up the tunnel itself when we're navigating through it.
Wow, amazing. So, on that note, that's the time that we have for today. That was thought-provoking discussion. So, we'll request each of you to actually share this episode with your friends, colleagues, and family. If not anything, bring it up as a discussion and just ask questions. What do you think? Spark a conversation and see where it leads. And of course, we'd love to hear from you. Join the dialogue on our social media platforms. Share your questions, your learnings, and the insights you gained from this episode. It's through these shared experiences and perspectives that we all grow and learn. Well, I must tell you, quite a few of our friends after so many episodes have actually reached out to us and told us, you know what? I used that episode of yours as a conversation starter with my loved ones. And we were
Wow.
very fortunate to get that kind of feedback. So your voice matters in shaping a more ethically driven business world. That's it for today. Join us again next week for another enriching episode of Life.EV, where we continue our exploration into the fascinating world of exploring values in our life. Vivek, thank you very much for these invaluable contributions every week. Look forward to diving in deeper into these critical discussions in our next session. See you next week, where we'll unravel more insights and perspectives that shape our ethical compass. Thank you for listening, and remember to reach out to your friends and get a conversation going on life exploring values. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, Vivek.
Bye. Thanks, Ajit. Take care.